Evening, Clive.
Cheryl?
Any sign of Pharaoh?
Nah, but you know what? I've had it up to here, Cyril.
Why's that, Clive?
Well, he's a bit obsessive, isn't he?
How's that then?
He'll be off getting some big idea or other, and then he'll saunter back, and who do you think has got to carry out his grandiose plan?
Us?
Us! Exactly, Cyril! Remember that pyramid scheme he got us into? What a shambles! Pyramids everywhere! And did we get a cent?
I'm beginning to regret this unpaid internship, Clive.
Ah, me too, Cyril. Hang about. When did we get a new Sphinx? Hold the phone. Who are you?
The Nexus fragment! Finally! I'll open a portal as close as I can to the next piece.
Quick, everyone, there's no time to lose. Stingray, can you get this back to Wasp and the others?
Captain.
Good work, guys. I guess we're taking the long way.
Lego Marvel Superheroes walkthrough. So this is the level Ice Sphinx. We have a problem. And we are going to be going into a pyramid in the desert area, and the beginning part of this is kind of self-explanatory, but I'm just going to kind of talk about it for a little bit. So there's going to be, I think, 3 trials that we're going to have to do before we can get the next crystal that we need for Team Thor. And the first 2 trials are completed out in the Overworld. So one of them, we have to ride a camel, as we'll find here in a second, through a bunch of rings, and you have to get the gold rating for those rings. But as long as you're basically not really stupid, it's almost impossible to fail this, so don't really worry about the time attack part of it. After that, we'll just have to defeat a ton of enemies that get thrown at us, and then the third and final trial is going to, of course, be the actual level. So I'm going to keep talking once we get to the level. The rest of the video will just play out, and you'll see what I was talking about there. I'm also going to let this guy yammer on his own, because I'm talking over him right now, so I will see you in a few minutes.
By completing 2, no, let's say 3 trials. If you can meet the challenge of each trial, I shall grant you the Nexus fragment.
Very well. I suppose we have no other choice.
Wonderful. Let me know when you are ready to begin. Are you ready for your first trial? The first trial will be a test of speed. To complete this trial, you must... However, you may only use a particular type of vessel to complete this trial. No flying allowed. Excellent! You'll find a starting gate over there. Remember, only a gold standard performance will be sufficient to clear this trial. How do you like my choice of steed? If you can master controlling that, you'll be well on your way to clearing the trials.
Do we really have time for this?
Come on, it might be fun.
Oh, what have I got myself into?
I fear we may have no choice but to suffer this fool and his demands if we want the fragment.
A tremendous display of speed. Well done. That concludes the first trial. I shall let you catch your breath before coming. So, are you ready for the second trial? Your second trial will be a test of strength. The Nexus fragment is a source of... Also, I really do love a good bit of... Then let the battle begin! Just remember, the great nation of ancient Egypt accepts no responsibility for any injuries sustained during the trial.
Now this is the sort of trial I can get on board with.
If our might is in question, I would gladly demonstrate it.
I like your gusto.
Well, I'm glad he's enjoying himself.
If the final trial is this simple, the Nexus fragment shall be ours before you can say, I liked you better with long hair.
Excellent. An admirable display of strength. You have cleared the second of my trials. The final trial awaits you inside the tomb. When you have bolstered yourself, enter and prove yourself worthy of the Nexus fragment.
Nearly there. Just one more trial and that Nexus fragment is in the bag.
This is the only news that matters, as it may be the only news left in Manhattan. Kang! I have it on good authority that Thor's taken the hunt for Nexus fragments to the ancient Egyptian area of Chronopolis. The pharaoh there has no love for Kang, it seems, and is allowing our heroes access to the tomb and the fragment inside. For those of you who've been living under a rock in the Old West, these fragments of the Nexus, when combined, will be able to help in the battle against Kang. This pharaoh fella seems like a stand-up guy. I'm a very good judge of character, and I think the heroes will have no trouble completing their mission.
You guys too?
What?
I'm afraid you have wandered into the same trap as us.
I, Horus, entered the pyramid to investigate a violation of its tomb. But I can get no further.
Nice hat.
There's no way down to the lower levels.
Hulk not give up. Hulk get us lower levels.
Everyone okay?
In here, Captain!
I live.
Roger that.
We'll have to find our ways separately. Let's find that shard.
Thank you for your assistance, Avengers. Perhaps with your help, it might be possible to escape from this cursed tomb.
Hey, don't worry about it. Do we know each other?
This is Horus. He's...
And now we are finally in the actual level. So this kind of reminded me a little bit of that Gauntlet game, like the original one on the NES. And I know it's really nothing like it, but Gauntlet was basically a big maze that you had to go through with a ton of enemies, and you had to do that a bunch of times. And this kind of felt like that. You're in a big giant maze inside of the pyramid with a bunch of enemies. You only have to go through it once, but I don't know, it was kind of fun. So this was probably actually one of my favorite levels, but I think the game took a little bit of a downturn level-wise after this one. This one just felt like a ton of fun, and it was especially one that would have been better on co-op. So you're gonna be split into basically two groups of heroes here in a little bit, if we're not split already. I can't remember if that happened in the cutscene. I think it'll happen here in a second. And we're basically just gonna do a whole host of minutes of puzzles before we get to the boss fight. And once you are finally split up between the two groups inside of this level, you're gonna be swapping between the two to kind of solve puzzles for the other guys, as we've done in the past, Lego games even. So as I said, with co-op, this would really be a good one for co-op, because the two of you would be working on your own little place, and one of you won't be able to pass without the other one finishing their area. So I don't know, I feel like, especially, I've said earlier in the game how this game feels like it was made for co-op and would be a lot easier and a lot quicker with it, and this level especially felt that way. I feel like if you were playing with two people here, this one would probably take I don't know about half the time, but I'm sure significantly less amount of time that it's taken me. So this was a part that had some very strange controls. We have to use Doctor Strange's magic to put these bricks inside of the wall here, and you'll do this in the order of the panels on either side of the door there. I guess these are hieroglyphs, not really bricks, but the controls were just strange, because sometimes Strange would target the wrong one, and then that first hieroglyph popped out, and then it was kind of annoying trying to actually aim them into the hole there. Luckily, once you finally get it lined up, it usually puts itself in on its own, but I don't know, that was just a little bit weird. Once that door puzzle is solved, though, then you'll be able to open up this portal behind the door, and two of you are going to jump through. I think this is where we get split up here. And, oh, okay, no, we were already split up. Alright, so Doctor Strange's side is going to split up. You know, now that I think about it, you probably don't play as Hulk and, what's his name, Captain America in co-op, and then Doctor Strange as the other guy, do you? co-op probably just has you both playing the two characters, doesn't it? So you know what? This probably wouldn't take any shorter with co-op. Maybe I was wrong there. Alright, that's kind of disappointing. I don't know, I haven't played this co-op. Normally my brother and I play these Lego games, but we don't live in the same state anymore, so that doesn't happen as often. I don't know, maybe you got some other friends too. I don't have any other friends to play Lego games with, so maybe you do and someone will let me know. But anyway, so here, like I said, we'll jump on through that portal with Doctor Strange, then we'll have to do a couple of puzzles here with Hulk and Captain America, and there's going to be a spider that we can use to dig up some of these holes because we don't actually have anybody else who can dig up dirt piles. And the other heroes that we've used so far that can do that are like Black Panther and I think White Tiger. We need to build a TNT dynamite deal here and then step on the detonator to get it to go off, and for some reason I had to actually pull it down twice there. I don't know if that was just a strange glitch or if that's just what you gotta do, but jump on it however many times it takes. Then we're gonna get to where these fireballs are gonna be, or these fire arrows are gonna be darts. Maybe they're more like darts. But anyway, these traps are gonna be shooting stuff at us with these panels that are kind of across the way. And Hulk and Captain America are gonna need to come across that. Now, particularly in this level, your teammates are gonna be really terrible at following those kinds of platforming places on their own, so you're often gonna have to switch back to the other guy and get him on the other side of the room by yourself. So I don't think Hulk is following me here. Maybe he's smart enough to. A little bit later here, we'll definitely see exactly what I'm talking about when I say that they're really bad at following you. So let's just knock down this wall here, and we can do that by ricocheting Captain America's shield. Of course, anytime there's kind of an annoying little platforming section, there's usually a button on the other side that will shut off everything that was annoying about it. So in that case, Hulk will be pretty easy. It'll be pretty easy for Hulk to follow me back, but there's going to be one a little bit later that won't be that easy. It's still not horribly difficult or anything, but hopefully you'll see what I mean. Anyway, knock down this wall and then push the button with Captain America, and this should bring the water levels up. And then I think pretty soon here we're going to switch back over to Doctor Strange, but maybe not yet. We're going to get attacked by a scorpion again, and we'll just want to take him out. As I've said before, Hulk is a little bit nicer when it comes to defeating some enemies just because his attacks are so wide and cover so much area. It's kind of hard to miss, and he does a lot of damage, so that's kind of nice. But anyway, here we'll move this skeleton chair all the way to the right side. And then once that knocks that part down, that is going to be for the other guys. There's a button there that they'll want to push. And it is about here, I think we switch on over to them. Yep, it looks like it. So they've finally jumped through that portal. Now we have Doctor Strange, and is this Captain Marvel? Okay, that is Captain Marvel. So I guess there's Miss Marvel and there's Captain Marvel. There's a Captain Marvel and DC, isn't there? And then is that the one that's like the only crossover hero for both universes, one that existed in Marvel? Isn't there one that's existed in both Marvel and DC? I don't really know, but anyway, whoever this is, we're just gonna I'll know more about Miss and Captain Marvel when the movie comes out, I'm sure. Anyway, so for that place that I walked across, those arrows shooting above your head make it where you can't actually jump there, so you just need to walk across the platforms when they line up, and then when you get over here, push the button. I think Doctor Strange kind of got wrecked there, so that was kind of sad. And once that button gets pushed, I think the platforms are still going to move, but the arrows will get shut off, so then you can actually jump again. And here's going to be a gold Sphinx type of deal. I guess that's not really a Sphinx, like a pharaoh, whatever this is. You'll just want to zap it down with Captain Marvel. That's who he is right now, Captain Marvel. Want to zap it down with his laser beam, and we can do that just on both sides of his hat, and then also the bottom side. As you saw with me, you might have to stand back a little bit to actually be able to start zapping him, because sometimes a laser beam doesn't like to aim itself correctly. And then we should be able to build this console here. All you have to do is push the button, and here is also the slider puzzle. So this was kind of interesting to me. I really had no idea that they were going to put this in a Lego game. So at first, if you've never done these kind of puzzles before, or if you just don't like them, you're not really going to get a whole lot of help at the beginning until you realize that every time that you move a square in the correct spot, then you're going to get a ton of studs as a reward. I messed it up pretty badly here because I was trying to make it look like the eye, and I consider myself pretty decent at these slider puzzles on any other day, except in this game for some reason. So if you step off, the puzzle will reset itself. It's still not going to let you know how it's supposed to look, though. So as we saw in that previous attempt, I had the correct amount of, I had a bunch of studs show up when I moved it in the correct spot, and now, same thing, I'm moving them all in the correct place, and all the studs are appearing. If studs don't show up, go back to the spot you were at before, and then just move another square until more studs appear, and then the eyeball should form itself there. I could have done that probably better if an image of the final result was on the wall next to it, but that probably would have taken longer too than just following the stud. So there you go. It was really just one of the many surprises I had in this Lego game where I was like, really? They put a slider puzzle in this game? Like, the last time I experienced a slider puzzle in a video game was years ago when I played RuneScape, and there's that quest, Monkey Madness, that you have to like complete a slider puzzle to finish on the quest. That was like 10 years ago, but that was like the last time I had to deal with a slider puzzle. And then I see that and I'm like, really? At least it was a 3x3, not like a 5x5 puzzle. But anyway, once we make it across here, we will want to use Dr. Strange to get that Sphinx out of the ground, and then he will throw up a couple of the Lego bricks that we need to make this Ankh. Is that an Ankh? Whatever that kind of symbol is called, A-N-K-H, I think is what it is. Maybe I'm making that up. I don't know. I feel like I've read about those things in some Reader Rabbit game. Once again, when I was really young, they I don't know, do they still do those kind of games when, like, if you finish grade school, they have like this package that has some mediocre game on the inside, and then it's got a big giant textbook of questions that you're supposed to do every day throughout the summer. I don't know, maybe that was just what my school did. I think it was like my whole district, so I don't know if other states or places in America or even other places in the world do that, but that was like where Reader Rabbit came from, and then these other people that just went into like Egyptian tombs, and there was one game that spent its whole time in Cairo, and that was, I don't know, I feel like I learned where that symbol was in that game. But anyway, this was probably the most annoying platforming spot like I was talking about, and getting across this is pretty easy as Hulk. It's going to be a little bit harder as Captain Marvel, who we are going to need over here. So Captain Marvel is absolutely not going to follow you. He's going to stay on over the other side, and that's really just kind of aggravating when it comes to having to do that more than once, because if you do that with Captain Marvel originally, you can push that button and then get across a heck of a lot easier. But there's also a couple of scorpions that die pretty easily if you're the Hulk, and if one of them smashes on me, as we saw a couple of seconds ago, all you have to do is move the analog stick very quickly in the right clockwise rotating, holy moly, direction. Something like that. I don't really know, but just move it in whatever the heck the screen tells you to do, and then you can get the scorpions off you. And did I say Captain Marvel? Because I meant Captain America. My goodness, there's too many captains, too many heroes named after countries and comic books, and yeah. Anyway, for Captain America, the platforming isn't really going to be platforming, because you'll just want to hang on to the railing there and shimmy your way on across, and once again the issue of the B button being multiple commands becomes an issue again. I said the same word twice there. Redundancy is a great thing, but anyway, once we get Captain America on the other side, then we can push the button and rather pointlessly get those platforms up. So as I said, if you just do that with Captain America, you only have to do that once. You know, Hulk might actually be able to push those buttons. I haven't tried, because I think in previous games he wasn't able to, so I don't know, maybe he can, but either way, this button will reveal itself once you break this point open, and then Hulk is the only one heavy enough to actually activate it. A bunch of these swinging poles are going to come up, so just jump on them once again with Captain America, swing on over. And we're actually getting pretty close to the boss of this level, and the boss is not too long. The whole pyramid maze is definitely one of the longer parts. I gotta look. I don't know if this level is longer than 20 minutes or not. I know I said that I was gonna split up videos when they're about 20 minutes long, but this one I think I'll keep as one, just because I don't really know of a good place to split it. So I don't know, but anyway, I don't need like 50 videos for a Lego walkthrough anyway. You know, who wants to watch that? Anyway, so we'll put this other symbol together that I think I know the name of but don't really know the name of, and we're gonna pull on that, and that should open up the door in the middle there, which we've already done with the other two guys, I believe, and that will lead straight into the boss room.
Well done. Very well done indeed. Now, for the final test.
Final? But
When this shard is removed, the change in energy will awaken its cadaverous occupant, who after eons of captivity will exact vengeance on the first poor soul he sees. And my dear companions, I have no intention of it being me.
Loki, thou shalt pay for this.
On the contrary, dear brother, it is you who will pay for me.
don't struggle, that's quicksand.
I've got this. You guys deal with that.
The living mummy rises.
Now here we are finally at the boss, who is actually Loki, and I have to admit this was one of the cooler twists of Loki being a pest that I never expected, because pretty much in any movie that ever has Loki, you know he's gonna betray somebody at some point. But this one, I, for some reason, had no idea that this guy was actually Loki, who is helping us trying to get inside of here, so that was actually kind of cool. Now I should have guessed it, because it's Thor. We're at the 3rd level, I believe we're at the 3rd level for Team Thor, and his enemy is basically Loki, so I guess it probably should have been expected, but I actually didn't expect it, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, Loki's gonna send a couple of weird guys after us. I don't think we're fighting him. I think he summoned a couple of guys that we're fighting. You know what, I don't actually know what's going on anymore. I give up, but anyway, the first thing we need to do, move that laser beam back at him, and then he's going to jump on into those quicksand pits that are kind of scattered around the room, and we're just going to have to defeat a couple of the enemies that he sends after us. Unfortunately, we do not have Thor and his power because Captain Marvel is trying to tug him out of the quicksand. Now, interestingly, I'm pretty sure you can't actually physically sink into quicksand because it'll like equalize with your body's density, and that is always low enough to, or it's always high enough to where your head will at least be above the quicksand. But I think a lot of times people die in quicksand, it's because of dehydration, because they're stuck there for so long. I don't think anyone's ever, at least from what I've read, maybe I'm wrong, I don't think people have died suffocating in quicksand because it just doesn't sink in that much. However, for Thor, since he's like pure muscle, not Thor, Hulk, since he's pure muscle, I wonder if that could happen to him. But either way, they have to fight the suction of Hulk falling into the quicksand with the strength of Captain Marvel, so that's kind of interesting. But anyway, enough of that rambling. We'll just build this other pad here with Doctor Strange, and we're going to use him to move the beam back in the direction of the guy that we're fighting, whoever the heck he is. And once again, once his beam goes down, he's going to hide back into the quicksand points. We'll just have to defeat a couple of the enemies that get sent at us again, and that's pretty much going to be the formula for this level. Of course, he's going to do what other bosses often do, take control of certain enemies, and then you'll just want to switch to somebody else and take him out with another hero. Sometimes you can break free of his grasp and just do that until the rest of his health goes away, and that'll be it for this level.
Night, mummy.
Hulk! No! Quickly, everyone! Through here!
But how?
Hulk smash.
Now, deceiver, you will put right all that you have defiled.
You insolent fools! This is not the last you've seen of Loki. I'm moving! I'm moving! Ow! Stop hitting me! Ugh.